All right, well, joining us now is Andy Popper, the athletic director for Monte Vista High School. As outdoor high school sports are returning, that means football, that means baseball, that means soccer, and it's all ramping up at once, Andy, 0 to 60. Tell us about what's on your plate and the challenges to getting this done right now.
Well, there's a lot on our plate, but we welcome it. We've been sitting idle for quite a long time, hoping and waiting for some good news, and we finally got it. So East Bay Athletic League met on Friday after the governor made the announcement, and we had to shift quickly because we had schedules approved earlier that wouldn't line up in the current timeline. So we got schedules set. We split the sports. We staggered them so that kids had opportunities to possibly play multiple sports and to relieve congestion and facility conflicts. So we potentially have football starting within a week. Baseball and softball are going to be starting really soon. And so we still have to get lacrosse and track and field and water polo and still kind of unknown with indoor sports too. So there's a lot of juggling, but we put in a lot of time, and the EBL ADs have done a really good job mobilizing, getting schedules hopefully approved on Monday so that we can get rolling next week.
And how are you going to do this while still keeping everyone safe? That's the big question.
That's the big question. So we will follow county and state guidelines, obviously. Practices, masks on during to and from campus, and obviously for competitions we'll be allowed to mask off at that point. But coaches will be required to wear their masks. Our contact sport athletes will be required to be tested weekly before a contest. So for practices, they won't have to be tested, but for each contest, they'll have to be tested prior, And that's lacrosse and water polo, because at this point, we're still trying to figure out how we're going to get our football guys into a testing process and procedure too. So that's we're working with our school district to figure out how we're going to do that. But yeah, they will be tested weekly.
Okay, and there was a pretty vocal group, Let Them Play. I'm just wondering, how much do you think this came about, return to sports, is due to the pressure that they have been applying lately?
It definitely helped. They were persistent. Their message was clear. They had the data to provide to the governor's office, and I think it's kind of a perfect storm. A lot of things happening at the same time. The vaccines, the case numbers were dropping. So I think it was the right time to get kids back into sports. And, now we're working to get kids back on campus, and we're looking to get indoor athletes back on campus, and kids of, multiple clubs and band and drumline and choir. So it's multifaceted, but things are loosening up, and kids are finally seeing something that they can be excited about in regards to participating in stuff they love and being on campus and wearing those uniforms. And we're really fired up to get them out there.
Will there be kids on campus going to school, or just kids returning to practice and then play games in the athletic program?
At this point, we're still fully distance learning. So all of our students are learning from home. We are hopeful to get our hybrid learning platform going here shortly. We do have middle school kids going back. Our elementary schools in our district are returning to classrooms. So it should be coming soon. For our student athletes who participate and still choose to be on the remote model, they have full access to our extracurricular programming. So whether they're in classrooms or at home, they'll still have an opportunity to participate.
And for kids who haven't been doing these extracurricular activities, some of them haven't been very active outside at all. For you, what does this look like to you? How important is this?
Well, it's huge. I teach a PE class too, and it's all through Zoom. And you're on the honor system, and you're hoping that kids get an opportunity to get away from their computer for an hour during the class. This is an opportunity for kids to participate in sports and be active. I have a son of my own who's a junior at Monte Vista, and I see what he's going through all day long, sitting and listening and Zooming, and he also plays lacrosse. So it's an opportunity for him to kind of decompress from being cooped up and get outside and participate and be with friends. And breathe some fresh air and get your heartbeat going a little bit, it's a win for everybody.
And finally, if there's one thing that sort of keeps you up at night with regards to bringing this back and just the sort of the Herculean task, what would it be?
I think the biggest thing is what happens if there's an outbreak? What happens if there are some positive tests, positive cases? Do we have to shut everything down? Does the particular sport get shut down? So I'm just hoping that we continue pushing in a forward direction and don't have to backtrack at all. Like I said, a lot of work went into getting the schedule set. Kids are going to get these schedules and make plans, and I would hate to see all that kind of disappear if in fact that we kind of do a turnaround and reverse things in the wrong direction.
All right. Well, thanks so much for just taking a couple of minutes of your time. We really appreciate it. Good luck getting all this rolling. We know you got work to do. You're going to be on a lot of Zoom calls and a lot of meetings over the next couple of days, I assume.
For sure. I appreciate you having me.